All right, I've had a lot of compliments on the videos, and I know a lot of people like it. So today we're going to talk about our tournament preparation. When you guys watch golf, the big events, I don't know how much golf everybody watches, but they seldom talk about what goes into taking care of a golf course, and I think it's important that I could throw some of that information out. We're superintendents are very sensitive people, so we don't necessarily always take complaints or compliments very well because there's a lot behind the scenes that not many know about, which is understandable. It's just the way it is. This is an art and a science. It's not just mowing grass. If it was just mowing grass, a ton of people would do it. And when you watch these big events on TV, some of them are just very talented superintendents that should get some recognition for what they do, because they put in many hours to get the course the way it is for those big tournaments. Case in point was Lancaster this past weekend for the US Open, Women's US Open. That golf course was just immaculate. When I watch golf, I pay attention more to the course than anything else, and the little details that they do that not many people know about. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to explain about the Invitational coming up and what we've been doing the last several weeks to get the golf course where it's at. It takes a little bit of preparation, even for these smaller tournament. You know, this is a smaller tournament compared to a PGA event, but we treat it like it's very important, and as we should. We want the members and guests to be very happy with the place. You know, we get excited for the tournament and we want to put our best foot forward, as long with the other ones. Members big for us too. So I've been preparing the last several weeks, and I just want to explain some things that we have done that, you know, normally we would do, but everything's about timing when you have a tournament. So last week, if you notice, we spiked the greens, which was just little holes in the greens, and that was to start drying them out, because all this rain we've gotten, they've been wet. So we spiked all the greens. And here's another example. You know, the greens are not going to perform at 13, 14 on the stimp meter every day. There's no golf course that does that, because you have to do certain things to get them to that point. For newer members, I don't chase green speed. What I try to do is, you know, it's most important that the ball roll is smooth and consistent, and then speed comes along with that. So we're gonna have a lot of speed on the greens, but it's because we've been working on the ball roll. So last week we spiked all the greens, and it puts little slits in there. That's to dry the top up so I could get them firmer. And it's also, if we get rainstorms like we are tomorrow, the water will go in there and we can keep a consistent green throughout the tournament, even if they're wet. So anything that and in the past, you know, a lot of people think that the fastest greens are in July and August, which is just not true, because you have to keep moisture on them. Greens slow down a lot when they're wetter. The drier you could get a green, the faster it's gonna be, and the healthier it is. But it's hard to get greens dry, especially a day like today. So for golfers, you know, it's overcast and humid. The greens are going to lose speed with that, no matter what you do to them, because of the moisture above the surface on the ground. So that's just something that's unavoidable when it comes to green speed. But back to what, you know, this is a lot going into this conversation, but I'm just trying to explain everything the best I can, just so you get an understanding. So last week we spiked the greens, which will help with the moisture of the greens, plus the texture of the greens. When you spike it, you get a finer leaf blade. Then you notice on Monday we top dress the greens with sand, which I do on a regular basis, but we timed it out on Monday so the sand sets in there good. After you top dress, the first 2 days the greens are a little bit slower, but when that gets in there, you get more speed, and the sand settles, and that's when you get smooth greens. Today, what we did was we came with our mat on our greens mowers, and this is in front of the green mower, and it pushes up the grass before it cuts, and then you get a tighter cut. So those are 3 things that we've done so far. And then throughout the tournament, what we'll do is we'll double cut and roll. So then tomorrow when we cut this, we're going to get a tighter cut. It's going to be, the grass will be standing up, and we'll produce speed and smoothness that way. Other things that we have done 3 weeks ago, well, last week, throughout experience, I always want the golf course peaking this time of year, you know, almost just for this tournament. It's really hard to do. Your timing has to be almost perfect. This might be the first year since I've been here that I'm happy with the golf course. There's only been a handful of times where I was really proud of our golf course, and this is one of them. I got my timing perfect for the fairways. We put out a little bit of urea last week, so they're greening up just perfect for just this tournament, and it's gonna be eye-popping even as the week goes along. Plus we monitor our moisture in our greens, so right now we're trying to get them as dry as possible, and what you do is you have these moisture meters and you go around and you get readings, so we can tell exactly how much moisture is in the greens. We have total control over the golf course right now, which is kind of rare. So we're in a really good place as far as playing conditions go. We got them dried enough to the point where we don't really have to, well, we have enough moisture where we're not going to really have to water throughout the weekend, and they're going to eventually firm up and get speed and better ball roll as the weekend goes on. Unfortunately, we're getting rain tonight, but with how dry we have the greens, it should soak that up. Same thing with the fairways. I dried out the fairways as much as possible without getting too brown. You don't want to get them real brown before a tournament and then they don't last throughout the weekend. We want them to play as firm as possible throughout the weekend. There's a lot of other little things that we have done for tournaments, and it's hard to explain everything. I'm just trying to give you a little grasp of how detailed this job is and what it takes to hold a tournament. These superintendents that are holding PGA events, I mean, they're spending months prior just to get the course to peak at that point, and it's hard to do. So they're very talented people, but no golf course is perfect. I've only walked on 2016 US Open at Oakmont. I've been on 100 courses, and that might have been the only perfect course I've ever walked on. It was immaculate, but they also have 42 full-time employees. Other than that, I've been at 7 or 8 other majors, and I could see faults in every golf course. That was the only one I couldn't see a fault in. And there's problems out here, but I think we are at, you know, like I said, I'm very particular with our golf course, and I think this is the strongest invitational that we're going into. Hopefully we could keep control with it with the weather, but we're very proud of what we've done. I wish I had, you know, I wish I was a better speaker of how much it takes to do this job and to prepare for tournaments and just daily golf course. It's not mowing grass whatsoever. And the lower you cut and the more aggressive you get with things, the harder it is. But golfers, you know, like it hard. So we do the best we can. We're in a really good place as far as this week coming up. We treat the member and the other events the same way. So hopefully the guests love it, and hopefully I give you a little insight into what superintendents actually do and what's in their minds while they're preparing for a tournament. Thanks.